Today is Stretch and Strength Yoga. So a little bit of stretching, a little bit of lengthening, getting that long hold, and a little bit of building some strength. And we're going to end with loving kindness. So there's a lot of nervous energy in the world right now. So we're going to start to do what we can to bring loving kindness in and send loving kindness out. So begin on your back, start to land on your mat. If you have a band, we're going to use it a bunch today. If you don't have the band, you're going to imagine that it's there and just engage the muscles as if it were there. So we'll tell you how to do that as we go through. Start to land on the mat. Start to build up sacred space around your mat. Just you and the mat. No thoughts of yesterday, no thoughts of tomorrow. Starting to land in present moment, feeling how you feel, feeling your breath in your body, feeling your physical body. Maybe even bringing the soles of your feet to the ground and your knees up. And taking a little wiggle, noticing how your hips, your low back feels. Maybe give your head a little soft side sway, letting your neck soften. Shoulders melt a little more into the ground. And really start to focus in, maybe even giving yourself a little promise of staying on the mat. This is your sacred space. You're going to stay here for the next 60 minutes. You're going to just remain in this present moment, surrendering to what we cannot change, and being present in our own physical body and changing what we can within our own body, within our own motions. Starting to land. Find the breath. Maybe start to slow the breath down. Letting the breath come more fully into all the parts of the lungs, the bottom, the sides, the back of the lungs, the upper corners. And if it's helpful for a few breaths, perhaps attaching the words I am to the inhale and here to the exhale, really starting to bring all your focus into your practice. I am here. Bring your hands down onto the ground wherever helps your shoulders really melt into the ground. Take your feet up towards the ceiling. Look at your feet and just start to feel your feet. Move your feet and your legs. Pedal out the feet. Wiggle the toes. Take slow ankle circles. Starting to arrive in the physical body. Noticing what is present. And then we're going to fire up the core muscles. So bring the knees over the hips. Press the hips down with the stomach muscles. So really press the hips into the ground. Press the rib cage into the ground. That should fire up the whole stomach line. So try not to over flatten the low back to the ground. We're trying to fire up the stomach and give it a little challenge. Bring knees over hips and feet, even with the knees. Really take all the awareness into your stomach. If the low back is doing all the work, try to press a little more firmly the hips into the ground. Starting to fire up the core. This should already feel like work. Bring your hands to your thighs. We're going to move with the breath. So we're going to inhale, lengthen left side. Exhale, bring hand back to leg. Inhale, lengthen right side. Exhale, bring hand back to leg. So moving with your breath, inhale, lengthen, exhale, bring it back to over the hip, knee over hip. Moving with your breath, and if you're starting to use your lower back too much, if the back is doing all the work, squeeze the stomach more and make the movement smaller. Really trying to isolate the core muscles, the stomach muscles. Watch for any tension in the neck, soften the neck. Maybe bring the chin a little more to the ceiling. Soften the face, move with the breath, firing up the core. Bring the knees in, give yourself a little hug to reset. Set back up, knees over hips, feet even with the knees. Really active core. Press the hips down, press the rib cage down. Arms down on the ground this time. And we're going to think about the core muscles. You can actually bring your hands to either side, just underneath the rib cage. We're looking for the obliques. So you want to have this area tight. Fingertips here can help you remember which muscles we're trying to use. We're going to take an inhale. With the exhale, we're going to tilt the knees a teeny bit over to the right, trying not to let them flop over. Feeling these muscles fire up, bring them back, and then over to the other side. So it's important we're not rocking through the back and the sacrum. We're trying to find the muscles that allow our knees to move a little. Right here, the oblique muscles. And maybe start to find, if this is easy for you, a little length in the legs, make the legs a little heavier. Really trying to find the oblique muscles, the core muscles, using your stomach muscles to keep you stable and in control. We're not flopping around. Bring the knees in, give yourself a little hug, reset. And then roll on over to a side, come to a tabletop. We're going to inhale in our tabletop, exhale towards child's. Starting to land on your mat in your breath, feeling your own body. Maybe even returning to that meditative practice of adding I am here to your breath. Inhale, I am. Exhale, here. Maybe thinking of this small, simple practice as a little prayer. Thinking about accepting what we cannot change. Surrendering to what we cannot change. And arriving in our own body towards what we can change, ourselves. And bring it back to a tabletop position. Set up your base, nice space for your arms and wrists. And we're going to lift up out of the ground. So not sinking and hanging out in joints, but pulling with our muscles up out of the ground. We're going to start to work through some movements with the band. So wrap the band around the right leg. And then stick your heel through. So you're attaching, you're locking the left leg down. Locking the left leg down, and the heel of the right leg is in the band. So we're going to start to take the right leg long, and the band should engage. So if you're not using the band, you're going to imagine you have a band attaching you to the ground. Watch for sinking. Lift up out of the ground. Stomach muscles, chest engaged, leg engaged. We're going to inhale as we draw the leg up out of the ground. Exhale as we lower. Think about moving from the heel. Try not to buckle into the back. Engage the stomach. We want to move through the back of the leg and the glutes. Move with the breath. Find and isolate your muscles. Slow it down. Bring it up, hold, active right leg. Bend the knee and bring the right knee towards the right wrist. And then lengthen the leg. Inhale as you lengthen, exhale as you squeeze the knee forward. Inhale long, exhale squeeze. Trying not to move through the back. We're engaging the stomach. Maybe adjust your arms so that you're better balanced. Take the leg even with the hip, lower the toes, and press through the heel. So either static hold, pressing through, opening up the back of the leg, or you can take little soft pulses. Lower the right knee and set up for the other side. So we're locking the band with the right leg, and we're going to lift the left leg. So set up your base first. Make sure you're strong in the arms and chest and core. You're pulling up out of the ground and strong and active. And then take the left leg long. Hold, fire up the muscles. Inhale as you lift the heel towards the ceiling. Exhale as you lower. Slow and controlled. Muscles are engaged as you lift and as you lower. You can adjust your hands to any shape that's more comfortable for your arms and shoulders, just as long as you're keeping stable and lifting up out of the ground. Follow your breath. Lift the leg, bend the knee and bring it towards the left elbow. And then we're going to lengthen as we inhale. Exhale as we squeeze elbow towards wrist. Nice and slow with control. Actively lifting up out of the ground with the muscles of the arms, the chest, the stomach. Soften the face. Move with the breath. And then lengthen the leg, lower the toes, and press through the heels, static or little pulses. Bring the left knee back to a tabletop position. Keeping the bend across the middle of the lower legs. We're going to tuck the toes and come on up to a down dog shape. So pedal out your down dog, make some movements. Take whatever feels right to warm up your down dog shape. And then find the stillness of down dog. Connect with your head below your heart. Long, slow breaths. Just step the feet in just a teeny bit and take them wide, maybe about mat width apart. If you have the band, you're going to try and engage the band. So you're pushing the legs into the band, ground down into the feet. So we're pulling the band apart. We're pulling our legs up out of the ground, and we're sending energy down through the soles of the feet. Engage. And then maybe coming up onto the balls of the feet nice and slow. Slowly pedal, so lifting up to the balls of the feet and lower. If this is not comfortable for you in your back, you can come on up to a block, engaging the band and lifting the heels nice and slow. Look towards the hands, bend both knees, and then we're going to walk our hands backwards. Heels turn in a little. We're working towards Malasana. So still engaging that band, maybe grabbing a block and moving side to side with the hips, warming up the legs. And then slowly coming down towards a Malasana, lifting the hips, lowering, working your way. Engaging into the band if you have it. If you don't, just imagine you're really pushing your legs out and open, engaging the muscles. And then find a Malasana, maybe engaging and lifting up out of the ground, hands at prayer. So notice I'm up really high. So I'm not all the way down in my joints. I'm finding that point I can comfortably hold, and for me, it's really high. I am holding and engaging all of my muscles, pressing into the band, opening my legs, pulling my legs apart with my muscles, and then come on all the way up. Just stand, step it in, and leave the band. Connect with our breath. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, prayer to heart. And again, maybe adding I am here. Bring your hands to prayer. You even close your eyes for a breath. Land on your own 2 feet. Inhale, prayer up through center. Exhale, drag it down through center. Bend the knees, find the ground, and walk it out. Find a down dog. Breathe. Slowly lift the right leg high towards the ceiling, engaging through the right leg, through the glute, from the fingertips all the way up to the hips, lifting yourself up out of the ground. Bend the knee, slowly draw the knee through center, lift and hover. And then lower the foot, find a little lunge. Warming up our little lunge. Inhale, bent knee. Exhale, sending the leg towards straight. You can use your blocks. Finding whichever twists and turns and angles feel right for you. Experiencing the muscles in your legs and your hips. And then come forward, low lunge. Find an active low lunge so you're pulling up out of the ground. Your torso is engaged and long. Both legs are active and strong. Slowly lower the left knee to the ground and untuck the toes. So, figure out where your left leg is most comfortable. Try not to land right on the kneecap. Press down a little into the front of the left foot. Maybe even lift up. So lifting up, pulling up out of the ground. You can even begin to engage your muscles and really pull up off that knee. And then sending the hips slowly back towards the left foot. Grabbing your blocks if you have them. So we're going to open up the back of this right leg. Rather than folding forward, nose to knee, and taking the stretch into the back, we're going to think about only from the hip to the heel. So first, try pushing as if you're trying to push that heel away from you. Fire up the muscles of the leg. And then change. Feel like you're trying to pull the heel back towards you without letting the foot move. See if that changes. Engage through the front line, lifting tall through the spine. You can stay here. You can move the foot left and right, taking a little play through the stretch, nice and slow. Or if you'd like to come to a balance challenge, you're going to tuck the toes of the back foot. You're going to really engage. So you're going to engage the left leg. You're going to pull like you're pulling the right heel towards the glute. And maybe come up nice and slow off that back leg. If you're working with the balance, maybe taking a few lowers and lifts. Feeling strong and engaged through both legs. And then slowly come back. Send the hips back. Lengthen. Frame out the front foot. Lift up the back knee, low lunge. And then engaging through both legs. Lift up all the way. High lunge. Bring your hands to prayer. High lunge. If you have the band, we're going to grab the band again. You're going to wrap it around, arms behind you, in between the wrist and the elbow. Whew. Find a steady base. For many of us, this means a big bend in the back leg so that we can really engage both legs and the stomach to keep us nice and stable and strong. Bring the torso over the front leg a little bit further forward. Engage into the bend. So you're going to start to pull the band apart with your arms, watching for tension in the neck. We're going to lift and bring back. So inhale and exhale. Arms are engaged the whole way. Inhale, lift, exhale. If you don't have the band, you're going to bend your arms and just pull. Trying to find the muscles that make this happen. Back of the arms should be engaged, stomach engaged. Sides of the arms, shoulders engaged. Let go of your band. Hands back to prayer. High lunge. Frame out the front foot. Left foot, right foot meets left. High plank. Hold. Breathe. And then lower the knees and slowly come down to crocodile pose. One hand on top of the other, forehead down. Shimmy the hips. What can you let go of? Maybe returning to inhaling, I am. Exhaling, here. We're going to work the back line from here. So inhaling, lifting the shoulders. Exhale, lower. Moving with the breath and trying to lift the shoulders, not the skull. The head moves with the shoulders. But we're trying to find all the muscles in our back line to use evenly. Squeezing the glutes, squeezing the back of the legs, squeezing the mid-back, the upper back. Maybe the toes begin to lift. Maybe you can lift the arms. If you usually draw the elbows back, maybe today taking the arms wide and lifting the arms up in a different way. Changing the shape slightly. And then bring it back to crocodile. Shimmy the hips, let go. Bring the left arm, even with the shoulder, press into the palm of the hand to fire up all the muscles of the arm and the front of the shoulder and the left chest. We're going to place the right hand down, bent elbow, palm on the ground. And without dropping the left shoulder down, we're going to pull from the hand round to the right. So the head moves however the head and neck are comfortable. You can bend this right knee just to give you a little balance. Breathe. This whole left arm should be fired up as you're gently pulling through the muscle. Slowly bring it back through center. Place the right arm down long. Bend the left hand, bend the left arm. And we're going to pull from the right hand, lifting up that right shoulder. Pull, pull, pull. Not dropping the shoulder down, but lifting up. So this is dropped. This is lifting and pulling. So lifting up and then turn a little to the left. Maybe left leg bends. Watch for tension in the head and neck. Engaging in the right arm, chest and shoulder, and then slowly come back through center. Slowly make your way back to a child's pose. And then all the way up, down dog. Find your breath. Slowly lift the left leg high, engaged, entire leg engaged, fired up. Imagine you're still pulling that band, lifting long. Bend the knee and slowly bring it towards the midline. Lift and hover. Pull up out of the ground. Muscles engaged, find your breath. And then step through the lunge, finding your blocks and moving with your breath. Inhaling, bent knee. Exhaling towards straight, taking an internal exploration on your mat of what feels right, what angle feels right to move in, where you're holding your tension in your leg. Find a steady low lunge. Fire up the back leg, fire up the front leg. So you're really pulling up out of the ground all the way to the left hip. Core is fired. You're lifting up off that left thigh. Slowly lower the back knee down to the ground and set up where this leg is comfortable. Shuffle around, find the spot where you're not hurting your knee. Maybe place something underneath it. You can lift from the top of the right foot, engaging and pulling up out of the ground. And then slowly send the hips back towards the right foot and adjust your blocks. So first push into the left foot. So if you're trying to push the foot away from you without letting it move. And then engage and pull the heel back towards you without letting it move. And either lifting the toes and moving the heel slowly left and right. Sitting here, having a stretch, static stretch, or slow movement experience. Or if you want to try the balance challenge, we're going to tuck the toes of the right leg. We're going to have that pulling of the heel towards the glute sensation. Fire up the legs, fire up the stomach muscles to lift us up out of the ground. You can hold or a little soft lift and lower, slow, controlled. Engage. Arms can be a prayer, forward or out to the sides, maybe even on the hips. Make some decisions. This is your practice. If you lifted the knee, slowly bring it down to the ground and find your way to a low lunge. Engage both legs. Inhale as you rise all the way up, high lunge. Bring your hands to prayer. Engage your base really strong. We're going to grab our band again. This time we're going to wrap it around lower arms, however, ahead of the body, not behind the body. Engage your base. So maybe a bigger bend in this back leg. Your whole legs are engaged. Bring the torso forward over the left leg. Strong and engaged. Inhale as you open into the bend. Exhale as you draw your arms back. Try not to sink into the legs. Lift up, stay engaged. Soften the face. Move with the breath. Let go of the band. Hold on to it. Take it off the arms. Step forward to a mountain pose. Connect with our breath. Inhale up. Exhale, prayer to heart. Inhale up. Exhale, prayer to heart. We're going to take a giant step wide. So landing in star legs. So heels in, toes out, star pose. Holding on to the bend because we're going to use it in a second. We're going to move through the legs. So we're going to bend deeply into the right leg and then bend deeply into the left. Slow with control. So see how this feels. And then play with the shape of your feet. So there's no right and wrong for how we align our feet here. Some traditions say that there are. However, it's beneficial to move in all directions that our body can actually move in and build strength. So maybe you want to change the shape of your feet. See which one is a little bit more difficult for you and move slow, build some muscle strength in that angle. And then we're going to come on over to the right side. So foot can be in, foot can be pointed out. Come on over so more weight is in on that right side. So the left side is not inactive. Feel like you're pulling the heel back towards the right hip. Pull. You're bringing it towards the right heel even, engaged. The whole right leg is engaged. The legs are engaged. Bring the arms out. Shoulder width, band around the arms. Hold and engage into the arms. You don't have the band, just imagine you're pulling the shoulders open. Fired and engaged. We're going to lower just a little, take a twist, and then bring it up. Lower just a little, take a twist, and then bring it up. So the twist movement comes from the core, not the hip. Lower, little twist. Inhale as you lift, exhale as you, little twist. Slowly bring it back to star pose. Don't lose your band. Take a little wiggle of the legs, soften. And then set up for the other side. So, bringing a bend into the left leg, fire up. So you're bringing weight over more onto the left leg, but your right leg is still engaged and pulling back in towards the left side. Breathe and hold. Nice and strong, engage into your band. Inhale, and then a little twist and lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, little twist and lower. Slow, controlled. Finding strength. And then bring it back to center. Release the bend. Shake out the legs. Maybe you're really shaking the legs like jelly. Give them that cellular reset. And then hands on hips. Turn and face in front of the mat. Top of the mat. Bring yourself to mountain pose. We're going to go through a little stretching. You can use the band. You can just hold. We're going to wrap the band around the ball of the left foot. Little balancing here, so go careful and slow. Hips even. Engaged right leg. Little bend. Stomach engaged. Lift. Right leg. Left leg up. Press into the band. Fire up the leg. Hold and hover. Slowly bring the left leg out to the left as slow as you can. You can bring this into a bend and just hold. Slow as you can. Right hand can counterbalance. Engage. So you're pushing through the ball of the left foot. Stomach is engaged, face is soft, breath is soft. Bring the torso forward, bend into the right leg as hard, as deeply as you can. Balance and breathe. Slowly come on back up. Bring left leg back towards midline, and then lower. And tap out the feet. This time, without the bend, bring the left leg forward and see how high you can hold the leg without assistance. Use the muscles of the legs. Bring the leg out to the left. Bend the right knee, deep, 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 deep bend. Torso forward. Hold and hover. And then back the way we came, bending through the right leg, lifting up through the spine, wobbling. Bring the leg back to center. Tap it out. Other side. So if you're using the band, you're going to wrap it around the ball of the right foot. Bend in the left leg, long and strong in the right. Hold and lift. Slowly bring the leg out to the right. Engaging, so you're sending energy out through the ball of the right foot, really pushing through the leg, lengthening through the spine. Breathe and hold. Bend into the left leg deeply. Bring the torso forward, engaged. Bend, hold, challenge your balance. Slowly come back to midline. And then let it go, tap it out. So notice how hard it is for me to balance and talk. It's also hard for you to balance and think about other things. So try to bring your focus right onto the mat. We're gonna let go of our band now and try that whole thing without assistance. So get up strong in the left leg, engaged in the left leg, little bend. Lift the right leg up, hold and hover. Take it out to the right, hold and hover. Bend the left leg, bring the torso forward, hold and hover. Breathe. Slowly bring torso up, leg back to midline, hold, then bring it down, tap it out. Connect with our breath in mountain pose. Inhale, I am. Exhale, here. Bring it down, heart center. Maybe even closing your eyes, noticing what is different from when we began practice. Slowly lower the hips to a chair shape. So only as far as that you can remain engaged through the glutes, through the entire leg, lifting up through the spine. So stomach engaged, getting really tall in the spine. And pedal out the heels, nice and slow. Lift one heel at a time. Maybe lifting both heels and challenging your balance. Engaging through the legs, draw the knees out and squeeze the knees in. Draw the knees out, maybe just hovering in a chair. Squeeze out, squeeze in. Engaged legs. Slowly lower the heels back to mountain pose. Inhale, prayer up through center. Exhale, prayer down through center. Bend the knees, touch the ground. Step back, plank pose. Breathe and hold. Lift up out of the ground. And then lower the knees and come on up to a seat. So bring the legs out. Press the heels into the ground. Lift the knees up off the ground. Engage. So pull the toes back towards the shins. And then still pressing through the balls of the feet. So nice and engaged throughout the whole entire leg. Lift up tall in the spine. Torso, sorry. So long, long, long and engaged. Slowly see if without leaning back too far, you can lift and hover the right leg. Lower, lift and hover left. Lower, bring the feet a little wider. Lift and hover right. Lower, lift and hover left. Lower, a little bit wider. Lift and hover right. Try not to lean back and take this into the back. Stomach is engaged. We're trying to use the leg. Lift and hover, lower. Lift and hover left, lower. A little bit wider. Lift and hover. See if you can get that heel up. Maybe you can just engage. And then lift and hover. Notice if there are differences left and right. And then maybe take your legs out a little wider. Take a little left, right. Feel inner thighs. Pedal through the feet. Take some movement. Have an internal experience in your own shape. So pressing through the legs, pedaling out the legs, feeling your own holding patterns through the legs. And then bring knees in and make your way back down to your back with your band handy. So bring your knees in, give yourself a little hug, land on the ground. Notice what is different from when we began class. And then left foot down, right foot through the strap. And then keeping this right hip grounded. So a little grounding through the hip, pressing this hip down into the ground. Press through the leg and find the place where you feel warm through the back of the leg. So letting go of goals of shape and just trying to have your own experience through the back of the leg. So rather than pulling and lifting up this right hip, think about pushing through the leg and see if you can fire up more muscles through the leg. Push down through the hip, push the ball of the foot up to the ceiling, and then play with moving back and forth through the leg. Keeping the right hip grounded. Take the leg back over the hip and out to the right. Again, trying to fire up and feel the inner thigh. And then maybe playing with bringing the leg a little further forward, a little further away. Having an experience in your own leg. Slowly bringing the leg back through center and cross over right. Release the band. Bring the knees in towards the chest and feet towards opposite shoulders. Looking for glute piriformis area on the right side. Breathe. Slowly unravel, right foot to the ground, left foot wraps into the strap or the band. Press into the band, engage the leg. Left hip stays grounded on the ground. And then have an experience in the back of your leg. Slowly open the left leg out to the left, about even with the hip to start, and then play with bringing it forward or further away from the face. Slowly bring the left leg back through center. Release the strap. Wrap left knee over right, knees in towards chest, feet towards opposite shoulders. Breathe. Land on the ground. Slowly unravel and take the feet really long. Point the toes and reach the arms up overhead. Reach like you're stretching, like somebody's pulling your feet and pulling your hands and making you longer, longer, longer. Breathe. And then release into the ground. start to assess where your comfortable resting pose is. As we're doing loving kindness, I recommend having our shoulders on the ground, chest open, so maybe goalpost arms, arms bent, and shoulders really heavy on the ground. You can try placing a towel or something underneath the shoulder if your shoulders are particularly tight. This can help your shoulder know where the ground is. You can bend your knees and bring your feet to the ground and bring your knees in to rest in towards each other, and find that place where your feet are comfortable for your knees. So we're looking, if your feet are too close, it might be to the glutes, it might be too tight on the knees. If your feet are too far away, it might be pulling on your lower back, and it might also pull on the knees. So find that position where your low back, your knees, your legs are perfectly at rest. Maybe you need to put something underneath your legs. Prop up, find the position where your shoulders can be on the ground and your heart can be open. And really start to land on the ground. So this is your resting pose. Resting. We're getting as close to being as corpse as we can possibly be. We're trying to let all the tension of day-to-day living melt out of our body and into the ground. So, not stretching, finding the ground, finding support, and releasing, surrendering into it. Surrendering control of our breath, surrendering control of our thoughts, surrendering control of our muscles. Soften the face, soften around the eyes, soften the mouth, soften the muscles of the neck, loosen the grip in the hands, soften the soles of your feet, and soften any gripping in the torso, particularly around the breath. And then bring all of your attention and awareness to the very center of the chest, the metaphysical heart center, the soul center. Whatever helps you connect to here, you can imagine a green ball of energy. You can imagine, if you're more scientific, you can just think about the nerve bundle that is here right in the center of your spine. This energetic bundle of nerves. Whatever helps you bring your focus here. Maybe you're thinking of the spark within, an imaginary spark within, the light within, like a little candle in a dark cave, your eternal flame. Connecting to this heart center space and letting everything else soften, focus, and really focus right here in our heart center. Our heart center is our center for unconditional love. It is not our emotional center, it's our unconditional love center. Bring to mind a pet, an animal, or a scene in nature that you really had a deep, unconditional love, kind of blissful feeling for. Picture that in your mind and focus in on this heart center. See how it feels physically. Notice the physical sensations. Perhaps you're seeing yourself being greeted by your favorite puppy. Try to let go of the idea of people you've felt unconditional love for, because even our unconditional loved ones have complications in memory. So we want to step away from people and think of puppies or nature. Pets or nature, or something that we felt brought the sensation of bliss, the sensation of unconditional love into our soul, connected us. Notice that sensation. And imagining that sensation spreading throughout us, allowing it to grow and spread. we're going to move on to our loving kindness. So thinking of that sensation spreading throughout our entire form, as if wrapping ourselves in unconditional love and loving kindness. Repeat these words with that concept, with that feeling of loving kindness and conviction and compassion and meaning it. Thinking of ourselves first. May I be happy. May I be healthy and strong. May I be peaceful and at ease. Take a moment to connect with the concept of this spreading throughout your entire form, touching each and every cell, all the layers. And then bring to your mind's eye somebody that you think may need a little of this sensation in their lives. See them as if they were standing in the room with you. And imagine them receiving and this sensation of loving kindness, this bliss sensation from the heart center spreading throughout their entire form. Maybe seeing their face begin to soften, their posture beginning to soften. And repeat these words. May you be happy. May you be healthy and strong. May you be peaceful and at ease. And then sending it out to a collective community, imagining this loving kindness sensation coming from our heart center and expanding throughout our room into our world. Connecting with all the many people that are also practicing loving kindness today. There are so many people at this moment practicing this loving kindness meditation. Imagine your loving kindness connecting with the other loving kindness energy in this world right now, in this moment. As if we're all joining hearts and hands and sending out loving kindness. And repeat these words. May we be happy. May we be healthy and strong. May we be peaceful and at ease. Imagine our hearts and hands connecting. Sensation of loving kindness being shared in our communities right now in this moment. Letting go of barriers and sharing what we have in common. If you have more time to spend in your resting pose, please take as much time as you need. You need to finish up at 60 minutes. We are right on the 60-minute mark. So take your time curling up in a ball in a fetal position. Taking some time to ground down. Imagine still being wrapped in a little loving kindness in a fetal position, a protective shape. Connecting still with our heart center. Perhaps even taking a moment to think of surrendering what we cannot change and leaving it on our mat. And then finish your practice with your hands apart, heart space, bringing our left and right sides to meet in front of our heart, accepting ourselves as whole and complete, precisely as we are. May we be happy. May we be healthy and strong. May we be peaceful and at ease. Thank you for joining us.